UFC fighter, currently an author and motivational speaker. He also owns multiple different gyms in teaching jiu-jitsu. So he's an entrepreneur, he's a motivational speaker, he's an author, all kinds of great things. And brother, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm recovering. I got the vid, so I'm recovering from the vid.
Did
But
you really?
bro, my story's stupid. My story's so stupid, bro. I contracted it 2 days before I got the vaccine.
Really?
And I didn't know.
Which vaccine were you getting?
I got Moderna. And then when I got sick, right? I started getting sick like, 2 days after I got the vaccine. And I was like, I'm good. It's just vaccine symptoms.
Yeah.
And then guess what?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it wasn't vaccine symptoms.
How about the family? The family get it too? Is it something that
So my wife was fully vaccinated. My kids don't have it. Everyone got tested and we're good.
Wow. And how bad was it for you?
Man, so it was like, I will say I couldn't figure out why. I was like, holy shit, man, if this is the vaccine, this is rough. Like when I was going through it, I was like, this is really rough because I do not like this right now. And when I finally just went and got tested, I guess I kind of mentally gave into it once I got tested because I was like, okay, I guess I am just sick.
Yeah.
So that was, it wasn't fun, but like there were still what you would call mild symptoms, right? Like I didn't have to be hospitalized. I was short of breath for like maybe 10 minutes one day. But the weird part is the fatigue, man. That's the weird part is like I've never been fatigued like this.
You've had the flu before, right?
Yes, I've had the flu. I've never, but no.
Yeah.
No.
Like, no. This is like a real body shot in the liver and it just really hurt.
Yeah, this is different. This is something like I've never really experienced before. And like the weird part is that it's mild. Like these are still mild symptoms. So I don't want to know what severe is like.
Yeah, no, for real. So I mean, knock on wood and cross fingers and everything else. No one in my family and my immediate family, wife, kids, have received it yet, have not had it. We've done as much as we can to be safe, but we're also we're in Utah, dog, where Utah's kind of like, let's go play sports right away.
Right.
So I don't want to experience it. I don't want to deal with it. But at the same time, it is what it is. I feel like
it is what it is.
It's going to come down the line eventually. I'm sure.
It's a weird thing that we got going on, right? Like, like this whole thing, like we can't sit in our houses. Like I don't believe in I haven't sat in my house for a year. Like, look, everybody sat in their house last like March, April, and May. Yeah, sure. We all sat in our houses. We were like, yo, what's going on? But outside of that, I don't want to sit in my house. And I think we have to be able to navigate the world and we still have to be able to keep each other safe, as best we can. So
kids, dude.
Kids and old people, right? I don't want old people dying.
No, for sure. My fear is like not allowing my kids to have a normal kind of upbringing kind of deal, right? Like let them enjoy this life, dog.
Yeah. I have a 7-year-old, right? He's about to be 8 and he's in 2nd grade right now. He doesn't know what normal school is like. Because he had kindergarten and there was no COVID, right? That was 2019. And then this first year of full school, like all day school, was 2020.
Wow, bro.
And then so like that was all fucked up.
He's like,
right?
Dad, look, I don't like being in classroom with people.
Yeah, that's what he says. He hates school. He hates school because he's never really had to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it, dude, get out of bed and you're going to school.
Goodness.
Because this year's been a mess, right? Like
in
school for 2 weeks and then somebody gets a case and then they have to close the classroom, like.
Oh, yeah. That's
so,
how everything has been.
Yep.
Everything's been that way. I own a barber shop here. And we almost lost the barber shop, right? Because, one barber got it and then the other barber got it. And then the other barber got it. And also now we're shut down for almost months, dude. And my own barbers couldn't pay their own rents, right? And so it's like, okay, well, don't worry about paying the rent for the building that I own. So we had to soak that one in. And it's just like, you don't prepare for all the little hits you could potentially take. I mean, you owning a jiu-jitsu gym, not even one, you own 4, don't you?
I own 7, bro. I own 7.
7. So the last
but I own the building. I own the buildings on 3 of them.
So stop it. That's genius.
Yeah. So I didn't have to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the business didn't have to pay the rent. So I own 7 of them.
Oh my goodness. So crazy. So crazy. Well,
but I had 150 employees, man. You got 150 employees that all of a sudden, like, you got no income, and like, you got to figure out how to navigate that, right? Like, man, I had to go on unemployment so that, like, because the way the program works, since I was on payroll, you know, and like, let me tell you, filling out the unemployment, like, I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, I'm on unemployment. This is bullshit. But to be able to take care of the staff, we all had to do it.
Yeah.
So, because man, you know, it was a weird thing. You know, it was a weird thing trying to make sure and navigate that everybody could eat and everybody could pay their bills and all that. Whew, that what a nightmare.
Being a business owner at this time is so hard. You know, it's funny. So, who sponsors this podcast is a company called Beachtree Molecular, and they do COVID testing.
Okay.
All over the place. So if you ever need that, I'll be able to just drive over there and help you out with
that. Hell yeah.
Just take care of you. You know what I mean? But in all honesty, man. So I've been looking into a lot of your background. I've watched your TED Talks. I've watched several of your Instagram videos, and you know, there's a lot of people out there that are learning from their life and they're able to own it. But I really loved on the TED Talks. There's several points you made that just kind of blew me away, and I'd love to get onto it. But
yeah,
when you talk about that fight, there's something that I relate to. I've done my training. I grew up boxing. I did jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
I was a combatives instructor for the Army. I fought for the Army. You know, so I had my small versions of that. I wasn't facing these UFC level competitors, but there is the similarity of the fear of that walk. I used to tell people I would walk to the ring and hoping I rolled my ankle, that someone just reached out and stabbed me, that lightning struck me before I got into the fucking cage. Like, I was looking for any excuse to say, oh, no, guys, I can't compete today.
Yes.
It's fucking crazy.
Bro. So that fight you're talking about my last fight, right, with Vera. And man, I wasn't going to go. Like, I was not going to walk because I was too scared. I was so afraid. And I wasn't afraid of the outcome. Like, it wasn't the outcome. But in my last fight, you know, in the fight that I described before that in the TED Talk, when I quit on myself, I'd never done that.
Who'd you fight against on that one?
That was a guy named Luis Kane. Luis Kane. And that whole lead up to that fight was brutal. Like, I took the fight on 11 days notice. So I didn't get like this preparation time I didn't get a camp, right? Like 11 days. Yeah, I didn't. So I show up fight week and bro, I'm not sleeping. I'm having fucking panic attacks all night long and then, you know, but you fight, right? You fight. This is the rule. And I had never quit on myself like I quit on myself in that fight.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. And so in the next fight, I wasn't scared of losing. I was scared of quitting again. Yeah. I was scared that I would do that again because I don't know why it happened in the Luis Kane fight. And I didn't know how to stop it from happening in this next fight. So that was the fear. And then you add on the normal fear of like getting your head kicked off, watching Brandon Vera's highlights, and right, like that dude, all that.
Yeah, that dude at one point was one of the baddest fighters ever, right? Like, he's just a monster.
He was a fight away from the UFC title, the UFC heavyweight title, and he had beaten me in grappling. And grappling was my thing. Like, he had beat me in a grappling match. So, like, how the fuck was I going to win this fight? Plus, am I going to be a coward again? Is the coward Eliot going to be showing up? So I wasn't going to walk, man. Yeah. There was no way I was going to walk. And literally, when my wife said to me, "Why don't you just go get hit with the first punch, fall down, and get the 30 grand?" Yeah. I was like, "Oh shit, let's do it."
Well, it's funny is your wife's giving you the option, which you and I know, like, no one wants to cower in front of your wife. But if your wife says, "Hey, babe, I'm giving you permission to just, like, let's just go home," you're right. Like, oh, my wife, the one person I always want to look manly in front of, right? So
yeah.
Gives me that option. Like, okay, well, maybe I will, babe. Maybe
I will. No, that was the plan.
Right.
Literally, that was the plan. That was the whole plan. I was done. I was like, oh, thank God somebody else said I can do this.
But before this fight, before we get even more into the fight,
yeah,
I want to dig deeper into how long did you know you struggled with anxiety, or was that fight really what kind of brought it to
No. So I knew that I struggled, but and even this fight didn't bring it all the way. Like it didn't make me deal with the demon. Yeah. Like this fight, like because the fight hit it. Because then the Vera fight, I went out and I fought really well.
Yeah.
So, and then it all goes away. What's messed up, man, is if we really back it all the way up, is the reason that I fought was to hide all of these insecurities that I have as a human. If we're going to go all the way back, my dad's black and my mom is the daughter. So my grandparents are Holocaust surviving Jews, like survived the concentration camps. Damn. So my whole life, man, and my dad, you got to think this is 1980 when I was born. So my dad grew up during civil rights. So shit wasn't okay in his life. Yeah. And for my grandparents, shit was definitely not okay. Right. Like when you went into the basement of my grandparents' house, and we're talking like 1990, 1991 now, there was food from 1979. And when you ask them why there was food there still, like, canned foods and sugars and flours, they'd be like, because Hitler's coming again and we got to be ready. So this is how I grew up.
Yeah, you grew up not paranoid, but getting prepared for the worst.
For the worst.
Right.
And then you got to put this all together now. There was no one else like me where I grew up. I grew up in this small little town where the high school quarterback, he was going to be the quarterback because his granddad was, his dad was, and all that stuff. So
like Varsity Blues, right?
Yeah, Varsity Blues, exactly. I grew up in Varsity Blues, except not Texas. So football wasn't as huge. But so, man, I had no friends, bro. Like literally no friends. I had 2 friends total, and neither one of them went to my school. And the lists that like kids make, like the girls make, like who's the cutest and who would you never go out with? I was always on the top of the never go out with list, and people would hang it on my locker. So this was my experience.
Did you fight at all as a kid? Were you a fighter?
No, they left me alone. I was just a total. All the times when you think about school that people loved school, right? Lunch, recess, walking through the halls, like that's when you love school. Well, that's when I hated school because I was alone. I ate lunch by myself. I walked through the halls by myself, all that stuff, So moved to senior year, and I've been doing martial arts though. I've been doing karate my whole life, ever since I was 6 years old. So I did fit in my karate school. Like I was the man at karate.
Yeah.
So fast forward to my senior year, and I started doing this jiu-jitsu stuff a little bit, just a touch, right? And this is 1998,
Oh, this is
97.
early.
Yeah, early. So no one knew what it was.
Your UFC was almost dying, and they had to
Yes, exactly. So fast forward to that, and I learned a little jiu-jitsu. I lost a little baby fat, right? I'm a late bloomer. So I was a little less fat, and I told some of these wrestlers that I had learned this stuff, and they're like, yeah, we'll still beat your ass. Just grappling, and that didn't happen. I beat their ass.
Yeah.
And then I got a little popular, not a little, a very small touch. Yeah. I got some friends. People started to think I was cool. So for me, in my mind, the way that I could become cool was to beat people up.
Keep going.
Right. So then I just said, yo, I'm going to fight in the UFC.
Yeah. Yeah. You keep going.
Yeah. I was like, this is my way out. Like if I'm the toughest, I'm going to, then people will accept me and like me and love me. Because all the way up until this point, the only people that accepted and liked and loved me were my immediate family and like 3 other people.
Damn.
Right?
Crazy.
So this now becomes my reason for fighting, bro. Because now I'll be accepted and loved, and I won't have to be so scared. And maybe this anxiety and fear that I feel about just being safe in the world will go away.
Yeah, man.
So, but now fighting has a lot of pressure on it.
Oh, God. Well, now
forget about the normal pressure, right?
Yeah.
Forget about the normal pressures of fighting. It's going to actually like keep me safe and keep the Nazis from coming and keeping, like when I was a kid, bro, my house got spray painted with swastikas, niggers go home, all this stuff, right? This was how I grew up. And so like, if I could just fight now, all of that would go away.
Yeah. You found that fighting was the answer for everything in your life.
Everything.
Confidence,
everything.
Friends, girls.
Everything.
Now they know you. Now you're prepared. Hey, if you guys are listening, this is the Prankster Struggle. We're live right now with Eliot Marshall, former UFC fighter, talking about his struggles with anxiety.
Yeah.
And currently now as a motivational speaker, you guys are more than welcome to ask questions in the chat. We will get to them. But we're now still talking about just your life. And so, and it's crazy to think that, you know, fighting became the answer. And that is also what kind of guarded your insecurities, right? Like you hid everything behind fighting.
Yes, everything. So I had this wall up, fighting protected it, right? But then you got to live up to the fight, man. You got to go be the champ now but look, it's pro sports. You can't live up to it. One person Khabib is the only one who's gone through undefeated, right? Like, so if you're not him, you know, but he ain't fighting with that pressure, you know? Right. So
and he's also lost in his life some point, right? And when he was 6 and probably fought a 12-year-old, who knows? But I mean, when you're in the fight world, losses happen. I played college baseball, right? And like the people that don't understand baseball, as a pitcher, you're in a big game and you're trying to throw strikes and you're throwing balls and people are screaming, "Just throw strikes!" And you're like, "What? I swear to you, I'm trying to just play catch." Like, I get it. It's the Junior College World Series, and I'm stressed out, and I'm trying, right? Like, these funny things, the outside looking in doesn't understand the pressures of being in that moment.
I mean,
because they're like, Eliot, you're a fighter, dude. You're gonna win. Like, how many people you talk to, you have a big fight, and they're like, "Oh man, you're gonna win. You got this."
No, when they ask you, "Hey, are you gonna win?" and you're like, "No, dude, I'm gonna go out there and try and lose." Yeah,
I started to tell people, I don't know. It's a fight. We'll see. Right? It's a fight.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to do my very best.
Right. And it was more for me as well to not get like too confident. Like, bro. I fought so not the same. I fought in these law enforcement against firefighters boxing matches. And I'm telling you, I grew up in the freaking ring. I grew up with Freddie Roach, with Joe Goosens' gym. My dad's a really well-known cutman in boxing. He might have been a cutman for one of your events at some point.
Who's your dad?
It's Cutman Carlos. He's tatted up, dude, neck tattoos, hand tattoos, he was the cutman for the Contender show.
Okay.
Really beat down. He's just been around the game for so long.
Yeah.
And so I went fighting where I probably shouldn't. It was just not fair, but still the fear of walking in and people like, "You got it. You're fine."
Nobody knows what it's like to make that walk, right?
Dude, I couldn't even tell my dad I was scared because you don't want to tell your dad, like, "Pops, I'm nervous," you know?
But that's where it gets fucked up because that's the way out.
Yeah.
The way out is in. You know, the way out of everything is in. You just got to make the walk, right? Because when you make the walk, once the fight starts, you're not scared anymore.
No.
Right? Once the bell goes ding, the fear is over.
Yeah,
right? The fear's over. You're just fighting. Yeah. Like in the Vera fight, my plan was to go out, get hit, fall down. And like, so I go out, I get hit, I stumble. And then I'm just like, fuck it, let's fight.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm in it. I'm not so scared of it anymore. We're here. But that's most of our fear. That's almost all of our fear. It's just an illusion. But we give it this power.
Yeah.
We give it this power because we say we have to pretend like we're not afraid. And for me, I had to pretend like I was the man. And then when the man crumbled, right? When at the end of the career, when you're not the champ and you have no other way to hide the fear, and then you just kind of start pushing bravado out there to okay, if I just still act like it, you know? And when I really crumbled was a couple years later in 2016. You know, and that was when the real crumble happened. That's when the devil, you know, I like to call him the devil. He came to say hello, and he came to say, "Yo, I'm not going away now. You have no fight. You have no way out. You're either going to deal with me or I'm going to take over your life."
That's it. You had nothing to cover you anymore. The fighting was gone.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hide from the insecurities. You can't hide anxiety behind the fists, behind the jiu-jitsu, behind the mat. And so now all you can do is think about it. And you said in your TED Talks, this is the moment when you started to actually contemplate suicide. It was a thought, right?
I won't call it contemplate because I don't want to put I don't want to.
You don't want to give it more energy than it was.
No, I don't think it's fair to people that do contemplate it because I wasn't quite contemplating it. I woke up one morning and I thought, whoa, what would it be like if I did that?
Oh, man.
you know? And that was literally like my eyes opened and that was the thought.
Yeah.
And not that I was going to, I was never suicidal. I was never like, yo, I'm going to kill myself.
Right.
I had to write that out. That's what really kind of got me out was writing out that I would kill myself if the worst happened. But we all would do that, right? Like that's no different.
Right.
We all could write that story. But yeah, man, that morning was really fucking scary. And I'm not a religious dude. You know, I'm not a religious dude, but I am spiritual. And I had a spiritual experience that, like, later on that day. It was, I mean, I hadn't put this in the TED Talk. Couldn't fit it in there. But, you know, like I was tripping, man, all day. And I had to go to my buddy's wedding later and I was in the shower and it was not going well. Like I was literally like full panic mode in the shower. And I was like, I got to lay down. And I came in the room that I'm actually in right now. And I laid down right over here to my right. And I just started breathing, you know, I just started doing my breathing that I do. And, you know, something came and like this energy, and it just let me know that I was going to be okay. And it just said, it didn't say anything. It didn't do anything. It was just a feeling, right? It was just a feeling that I wasn't by myself. It was almost like a DMT trip, right? Like, you know, we produce DMT and, you know, and when people describe it, like, you know, they're there with another being, like, you know, and that's what it was like the universe just held me for a second, let me know that I wasn't alone. And it said, you're cool. And literally my anxiety was gone from that point for a whole day.
So you were breathing almost like a meditative state.
It was a meditative state. Yeah. But I hallucinated a little bit, you know.
Really?
There was so much anxiety that there was some, you know, it was like I was with, you know, God. Right. Wow. And I don't put God on like a Jesus or Allah or anything like that, you know, but that's not who I am. But I do believe that there is a greater being or purpose or something, a greater energy. And it was just chilling with me for like, you know, 2-3 minutes. And then it went away and I was okay for a day. Like all of my anxiety was just gone for a day.
Incredible. And you know what? I was still listening to like your TED Talks and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, is that when you decided to start using your insecurities as your answer, right? You started accepting that, you started speaking about it more, and is that what when you started to kind of get control of it, and why you went into speaking, becoming a public speaker?
So the reason I did that, it was totally 100% self-serving, and I can't say that it wasn't. Yeah. I just did it one day. Like I was tripping at one of the schools, you know, at my Denver school, which is like my home school where I teach the most. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm just going to let these people know that I'm not okay. Like I'm okay, but I'm not okay. Right. Like I'm just going to let them know. And just in case that they're struggling too, that they can see, because like, you know, my picture's on the wall fighting in the UFC, you Google me, right? Like you get this image that is just, I mean, it's true. I don't want to say it's not true, right? Like I did all of those things, but it's not the full picture, right? Because there is this Eliot, this coward. There is this Eliot, this fear. There is this Eliot, this anxiety. There is this Eliot that, I don't know, like I know Mike's quiet in the background right now. He said, you're a big softie. I'm a big softie too, right? Like I'm a softie.
Yeah.
So there is this other Eliot that like the world, quote unquote, doesn't see. Yeah. You know, it's not this 260-pound physical, muscular, you know, fit fighter. There's this whole opposite side as well. So what happens if I let people see it?
Yeah.
And then when they saw it, it eased the pressure on me.
Right.
I didn't have to live up to this anymore.
It's funny. So I am in the veteran space. I'm a veteran
okay.
myself. I speak with a lot of veterans who struggle with transition. I actually wrote a book on transition. I travel speak. So there's a lot of like parallels between me and you in our worlds. And that's why I was like, oh man, I think we should work together. That's when I hit you up. I said, dude, I should get you on.
Yeah. I was stoked. I was like, oh my God, this dude's hitting me up. Hell yeah.
Yeah, because there's parallels in what we do and what we talk about. Look, everyone sees me as this big scary dude. I was special operations in the military, 3 combat deployments, you know, doing all the bad boy stuff. Cool, tough guy. But and I tell my wife now, there's still a little bit of war that's me, right? There's still a part of me that is war, but there's a lot more of me that's love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like what powers me daily is being completely me. And that means the dad, the husband, the vulnerable, the honest. And people call me a big teddy bear, like, yeah, big teddy. Yeah, I am. I'm a big teddy bear, but that doesn't mean there isn't the side of me that's still war, right? But I don't want that. If I don't need that to be a part of me, I don't want it to ever be a part of me ever again. You know what I'm saying?
He doesn't need to be here right now.
Right.
He rarely needs to be here.
Right. And it's, it's funny. There's a very well-known military Medal of Honor recipient named Roy Benavides, and in his speeches, he says, those who have been to, and I'm paraphrasing here, because those who have been to combat are the ones that come back and want peace.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I did that for a reason, and now it's gone. And so they fight more for peace. And it's the same as guys like you, MMA fighters, like, there is a side of you that's always going to be the fighter, right? That you want to be like, you know what, let me go kick this guy's butt real quick. But the rest of you is like, man, can I just be an honest human being with feelings and emotions, right?
Yeah, man. I get that out on the mat though. I train jiu-jitsu. You go in the weight room and you lift weights and you get that warrior out, because there's a warrior side of us. So I go and I get him out still. I let him come play and I let him have fun. But that's for like 2 hours a day, maybe, right? But the rest of the time, nobody needs him. When I show up, when Warrior shows up at home, not good. Yeah. When Warrior shows up with the kids, not good. When Warrior shows up with my staff, not good. Right. Right. Like they don't need that from me. Nobody needs that from me. Very rarely. I have some fighters. Now they need it sometimes. They need to know that the Warrior is walking to the cage with them, right? That we are in this together.
Yes.
But so often it's not what anybody needs. What they need is something much different. They need this they need this softer Eliot, this look. Almost like, I'm reading this book, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, It's about the four traits of masculinity, or the 4 archetypes of masculinity, which I think we're having such a problem with. I think it's one of our biggest problems in the world right now is masculinity.
I agree.
Not that it's toxic. If you say it's toxic, you're fucking crazy. But like mostly they need like king and lover, but king, when everyone thinks of king, they want to think about this person that screams, I'm the king.
Yeah.
No king does that.
No, that's a tyrant.
Yeah. No king does that. Yeah. No king tells people how great they are. No king screams around saying, look what I've done for you. That's a dictator. That's a tyrant. They need someone who says, hey, I'm here with you. I'll take care of you. Not even that I'll take care of you. You know that I'll take care of you. But what I'm really going to do is I'm going to show you and lead you to be able to take care of yourself.
I do. So when you say this, I'm going to cut you off real quick. I wrote a blog I'm going to send you later. But you mentioned this in one of your videos that blew me away because I pride myself in understanding leadership in a very profound way. I've led men in combat. I've led them back home. I was a drill sergeant for many years in the military. I've raised kids in the military to go to war and come back alive. I've done the leadership thing, and something you said that most leaders forget or don't realize it is a part of us is you train your people to be better than you. That is incredible, bro. When people don't do that, it's because they're insecure that they're going to take over, and that is wrong. If you're a good leader, when you leave, you have led your men and women beneath you to be able to take over and continue to thrive when you pass.
It doesn't make any sense to me that you would do it any other way other than your own insecurities.
Yes.
Because, look, with time, we get knowledge, right? With time, we get knowledge. So could you imagine when did the Wright brothers, when did they make the airplane?
Who knows?
Early 1900s, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if the airplane didn't get any better?
Yeah.
If that was the airplane that we were still flying around? And it didn't get better because like smarter people came around. But well, yes, smarter people came around because we learned more. And then we were able to do things more skillfully. But for some reason with our personal selves, especially in this like fighting world, we're like, yo, dude, I can't teach my student to be better than me because if he's better than me, he's going to leave me. And that's what people think. right? So they don't give their students the power. They don't give in any way, right? Their students, I'm saying, not just fighting, but they don't give them the power to go out there and be more skillful than them. Dude, I'm 40 years old. I got 2 kids, 7 businesses, and I am unskillful at all of this stuff, this motivational books and speeches and online shit. I'm unskillful at that. I spend all my time doing that. I spend my time and teaching other people, learning how to teach better. My own personal, get better at jujitsu, dude, I don't have any time for that. If I can't make a 20-year-old who this is all they're doing with their life, if I can't help make them better than me, I am a shitty teacher.
Yes.
A really shitty teacher.
Yes. Well, think about it. Do you think of it in a parent perspective? I like to put things as a parent because you and I are both parents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're telling me I'm going to keep secrets from my kids? Look, I know how you don't get your heart broken. Or hey, I know how to save money, but I'm not going to teach you. Bull crap. I'm going to give my kids everything and more. I'm going to say learn from my mistakes and have an easier lifestyle than I have. I'm going to give my kids everything. And anyone I train in this world, all my subordinates, those are my kids. I give them everything.
Everything. The problem is people, the leaders, they're scared, especially in a teaching sense, right? They're scared that the student will leave you. So nope, I need them to need me.
No, man, I'm raising my kids to be independent.
No, independent. They need to not need me.
Make your own sandwich, kid.
Yes. Oh my God. I don't
dude,
today my wife, right? So my kid had to take his trombone, right? He's in a trombone, 5th grade trombone, or a musical instrument. He had to take it to school today. And my wife and we just disagree. And I get it. Because if it were daughters, I'd probably do the same thing, but he's got to take his musical instrument to school today. And my wife gets it and she puts it there for him right by his backpack, right where they're walking out the door. And he goes, "Oh, whoever did this for me, thanks." And I was like, "Homie, it wasn't me.
It ain't me.
It ain't me, man.
Easier for you.
Yeah, man. You see this house you live in? You live in a beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood. Your life is easy enough. My sole job in this world right now is to make your life more difficult."
Oh, bro, I am all about making my kids do everything. And my big term for my kids is always figure it out. Figure it out. Like problem solve, because this life is nothing but a problem solving equation.
Have you ever read The Coddling of the American Mind?
No. Yeah, I gotta send dude, text me that later. I'm gonna get
I will. Dude, it's got the best line for raising kids.
What is it?
Are you trying to prepare your kids for the road, or are you trying to prepare the road for your kids?
Oh my God. Love that.
Which one is it? Because you can't do the road for your kid thing.
Yeah. No. Look, we can't pave life for them. We can't make it easy. I can't cushion all the falls.
Because you don't know what it's going to look like.
Bro, so
were you ready for a global pandemic? Because I wasn't. Who the fuck knew it?
I was definitely not.
Right? Who knew it?
No, I'm ready now a little bit more than I was.
Right. Because we had to walk the road.
Yes. Yeah, you almost appreciated all that because now I'm a little bit more prepared for the next thing.
Yeah.
Bro, I raised my daughters to be they're state champ wrestlers.
Fuck yeah.
Girls. They faced boys their whole career until this year.
They
are monsters. And my one daughter, my oldest, my 18, she got mad at me. We're going a little off topic, but I think this is important.
No, it's good.
My oldest daughter was like, "Dad, I wish you let me do cheering more. I wish you let me be a cheerleader." And understanding I was a single dad, 4 kids. I took my sons to wrestling practice. I had my butt kicked by wrestlers. So I thought, let's fill in that gap. I can teach them jiu-jitsu. I can teach them hands. I don't know the grind and grit of wrestling. So let me put them in wrestling at early age. My daughters were like, "Dad, can I go to cheer?" I was like, "Well, there's no time for both. So you guys can stay here at wrestling practice. You can wrestle." And sad truth, right? I wish I had more time, but wrestling for the boys was important for me. The girls had to sit there and watch. So by the next season, they're wrestling. So they're wrestling from 8 and 9 years old, 10 years old, all the way until now. My 8-year-old state champ, first 4A champ in Utah history for females, insane.
Hell yeah.
And she's 110 pounds, right? Not a big girl at all. But what I told her, I said, "You will always remember when life gets hard, you'll look back at wrestling practice and say, you know what? That was harder. That was harder.
That was harder.
Take that mental, however you want, and take that now to pick it up, put it down, boom. That's life. Life will be a struggle. It's this one-on-one battle with yourself daily, and you have to choose to make those right decisions. And when you don't, you will face that. You will face that whatever repercussion you get.
And my only job is to make sure that you know how to handle the repercussions. My job, I was having this discussion with my kid the other day, my oldest kid, he said something silly, like, you're not, like, why aren't you on my side? And I was like, homie, I am always on your side.
Yes.
Like, I am never not on your side. The problem is it doesn't feel like it right now. But when you talk to me, I don't want to talk about this am I on your side thing until you're 30.
Yes.
When you're 30, I want we don't even have to talk about it, but you'll understand what on your side really meant.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean making sure that you get pancakes today. You know?
That the whole thing is in sports, like when my daughter lost a big match, I was like, that's good. That's good.
Good for you.
Yeah. Learn from that. Learn from that. Like, that's all you can say. Like, I'm actually happy for those losses sometimes, because you sometimes need those to see there's still holes in the game. There's still improvement to be made. And Dad's always going to be the backstop of, hey, it's okay. We learn from that. I love you no matter what. Let's keep going.
Let's go. Yeah. I have a couple of female fighters now, JiuJitsu and MMA. And I'm like, look, I know you guys like to look good, right? Like, your hair, you always like to look good. I don't want to see you look good. I want to see in practice. I want to see the mess of you. I want to see your hair all over the place. I want to see your makeup all messed up, because that way we have actually something to work on. If you ain't got no mess, if you don't show me the mess, then you don't need me.
Yeah.
Right. Then I'll just hold the water bottle, take the mouthpiece out, pat you on the back, and get, like rah, rah.
Yeah.
But if there's a mess that you're hiding, I need to see it so that we can clean up the mess and plug the holes, so that when it's really time to go fight, one, I know you can handle it. Two, the holes are plugged. And three, you will still know that I'm here for you, and not in a cheerleader type way, because there's better cheerleaders than me. I've never cheerleaded in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do want to walk right next to you in battle.
Love it. Yeah, they're hiding their insecurities with their fighting, just like you did when you were younger.
Everyone does. It's too scary not to.
Right. No, I get it. How did you get a hold of your anxiety? How did you finally, because, we want to talk about the mental health side of things, and it comes down to you had to, at some point, control anxiety so you could have this mindset now where you can help others.
So I did a lot of stuff. One, I got help. I have one of my best friends is a doctor. And he helped me, right? Like, so on my worst day, and this is why I'm so called, I guess, in a way, to give it back. Is, man, it was a Friday night at 5:00, and I got to just call my doctor, and then he called me in some meds to help me, because I was gone, man. I was tripping, right? I hadn't slept for 5 days at this point, so I needed some sleep and I needed to calm down. So he called me in some sleeping pills and some Xanax so that I could get out that night, But what percentage of the population can call their doctor on a Friday night at 5 and get help?
Not very many.
Not very many.
No.
Right? Most people, when you call to make a doctor's appointment, what happens?
Bro,
weeks.
I've been waiting 6 months just to get a personal provider. I don't have one still.
Right. So weeks, and I don't have that issue.
Yeah.
I got into therapy the next week.
Yeah.
Right. The next week, so the luck of the privilege and the luck that I had, that's not the everyday person's experience. So that's why I feel called to talk about it and let people know that they can do it. So one of the steps was, look, I still take a long-term anxiety med, and people, can shit on these sometimes. But for me, what it did was, look, it's not like a pain reliever, you take it and it's gone. Right. It just gave me enough space from the anxiety and who I was so that I could go work really, 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 really hard on dealing with this demon, who now is not so much a demon. He's my best friend.
Yeah.
Right. And I was able to make that switch. I go to therapy every week. And look, I read a lot. I meditate. I breathe. Yeah. I understand that every single thing that happens to me in my life is my fault. But this was, or not even my fault. It's on me, right? Like my wife, I love my wife to death, but she's just another human being that makes mistakes too, just like I do. but it ain't on her that I feel a certain way.
Right.
Right. My feelings, they're on me. My feelings happen because I have a need that's not getting met. Now, if I don't know how to express my needs and tell someone what my personal human needs are, and then I feel a certain way because of it, well, that's not on them. That's on me. Right. Yeah. So everyone likes to put their feelings, especially in the world today. Right. And especially men, but we won't even say the word feelings. Right. We just be like, oh, don't tread on me, bro. that mentality. Right. Don't you do something to me,
bro.
You can't do anything to me.
I tell so many guys like when people say to me, I'm a teddy bear, like, no. I'm just very comfortable with who I am and willingness to show you all of it. Right. I'll show you I love my kids. I show you I get emotional. I show you I cry. I show you I go to counseling. I am so human that I have all those emotions. And if you try to act like you don't,
I got you.
Yeah. It's like, come on, bro. We all know what insecurity looks like. The guys who go, in the veteran community, a lot of guys like to say, like, I just have dark humor and people just don't understand me. I was like, no. You have insecurities and you don't know how to speak those. And so you use dark humor to be your vice. The truth is, there's a lot in here that you want to say and you don't know how to say it. And you don't feel comfortable saying it. Because in the alpha male communities of fighters, of warriors, it is not common to say, I feel weak, right? And for some reason, it was frowned upon for years. Me in the military, if you get into an engagement overseas or you see something, you can't go tell your buddies like, man, I don't feel good about that. No, because you'll be like, give me your gun, give me your rifle, and go home. You're done.
Right.
And so we've trained people, or trained response to not ask for help when we need to start saying, no. It's okay to get help. Get counseling. Find all the modalities of, like you said, breathing, meditation, everything that you can say, those are modalities for healing trauma. And you speak on this, and there's not enough people out there that are willing to speak on it publicly.
I like to liken it, bro, to, you remember the movie 8 Mile?
Oh, love it.
Love it, right? So Eminem has all this stuff happen to him in the movie, right? Like he gets scared at rap battles, his buddies bang his chick, like his mom bangs his friends, right? Like all this stuff, everything, And in the last rap battle, when he's battling Papa Doc, and he goes first, and he goes, all right, Papa Doc, what are you going to make fun of me for? And then he just he raps about all of like the things that Papa Doc is going to make fun of him for. And then he goes, what do you got to say now? And he gives him the mic. And then Papa Doc's like, nothing. And then he got nothing, and he walks off, because that's what he was going to do. He's just going to make fun of him. Yeah. That's what we got to do. What do you want to make fun of me for? That I cry? Great. Okay, I'll tell you exactly why I cry. Yeah. Do you think, and we talked about it a second ago, do you think that I'm not scared that these fighters that I have, that I love, that I absolutely love and pour my heart into, do you think I'm not scared that they might leave me? Of course I'm scared.
Yeah,
of course that will make me feel terrible. But what should I do? Should I not pour everything into them?
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid? Should I not let everyone know that? Do you think I'm not scared and insecure sometimes and feel like a goddamn imposter that like Rocco hit me up to be on his podcast? Like, who the fuck am I? Like, do you think that doesn't bring of course it does, but just say it.
Yes.
But just say it, because then once you say it, the weight goes off, and then the people, the enemies, right? And there are enemies. Yeah. It's okay. There's no weakness that they can come exploit.
That's exactly. Papa Doc ain't got nothing on me, dog.
Papa Doc ain't got nothing on me. That's right, baby. Papa Doc ain't got nothing on me. Bring all the smoke.
If you guys are listening, this is Branch of Struggle, and we're talking right now with Eliot Marshall, the fire marshal, former UFC fighter, and now public speaker, motivational speaker, author.
Yes.
And we are talking about facing those demons, right? Like accepting your insecurities and using those as your power. Essentially, it is. If you accept that, there's no one could come at you and try and pick you apart. Like, no.
They got nothing.
They got nothing. Lean into it. Man, I love it, brother. I love it. We are coming up to 45 minutes on this podcast. We're going to wrap this up here soon, but please, dude, any last words you want? It is still live. People are asking questions. We can get to those before we cut out of here, but yeah, man, please tell them where they can find you, anything you want to give.
Yeah. So before we get to some questions, I guess, look, EliotMarshall.com and FireMarshall205 on Instagram. I try to answer everybody. Not just the Roccos of the world, right? I try to, you know, you don't need to have a blue check for me to answer. I try, you know, I try my very best to get back to everybody. I try to be very open about my struggle. I wrote a book about it. It's on Amazon and Audible. So it's called The Gospel of Fire. I have a podcast where, I don't talk. So we, you know, the mental health always comes up, but I like to hear other people's stories of success. Like, how did they deal with their struggle? You know, I have a mindset course, and you can on how to develop your mindset. I thought, man, what I thought Rose did this weekend.
Oh my God, bro.
What people, okay. So the fight was great. Right. But what I want people to really understand about what was going on there, man, that girl was so scared, right? She was so afraid. And the thing is you get all kinds of thoughts in your mind, you know,
you're in Colorado.
Like,
that's
right.
So
I know. Yeah. I know Rose well.
I went and sparred with Justin Gagey. He works a lot with my nonprofit. I
okay.
Trevor Whitman.
I see him 3 times a week.
I know that world of what Whitman does, you know,
right.
And I also know from being a fan of UFC and watching Thug from the beginning has always struggled with different, you know, insecurities in her past and her and Pat Barry's relationship that I'm the best.
But what was she doing with that? I'm the best. She wasn't letting you can't have 2 thoughts at once.
Yeah.
It's impossible. She wasn't letting any of the bad ones come.
Yes.
She was just saying, I'm the best. 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 Like, look, man, like if I showed you my phone right now, I've been working with this girl, Montana, for a year. And every morning I have a text from her. I'm amazing. And then who she is as a human. Yes. I'm a mother. I'm a student. I'm resilient. I'm determined. Just so that when no, neutral. I don't like positive. I like neutral.
Why
right?
That? Explain that real quick.
Because neutral, I'll tell you mine. I'm a father. Tell me, and you're a father, right?
Yes.
When are you not going to be your children's father? Tell me when that will be false.
I'm always a father.
Well, how about when you die? Will you still be their father?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So it's never not true.
Correct.
Okay. Secondly, for me, I'm a teacher. When will I not be a teacher?
You're always going to be a teacher.
I'll always be a teacher. So I don't care what happens in the world, right? Coronavirus, COVID can come, whatever. I'm still a teacher. For the rest, I'm their father. I'm a teacher. I'm a student. I'm a fighter. I'm a leader. And I'm a goddamn survivor. And all of those things together make me enough. So if I'm enough, and those things are always true, never not true. Let's go, baby.
I love it.
Neutral thinking, right? And look, it worked for Rose. I'm not going to say don't be positive, but she was just, it didn't, in the moment, you might have to be positive because, right? Like
that was a big moment. That was a big
whatever
moment.
you do to not let the negative thoughts come in is what you've got to do, right? Like, so she was just repeating, I'm the best, so that I'm the worst couldn't come.
Yeah.
Because when you go, I'm the worst, you're really reducing your chances for success.
Love it. You guys have questions. We're going to be wrapping up here in a couple minutes. So ask your questions now. We'll get to them and answer them. Man, that fight was so incredible, man.
Dude,
what she did.
The fight was incredible, but for me, before was the most incredible because I was actually watching it with my girl. She came to my house for dinner to watch the fights that night, and you know how it is. Like when you make your students do something, and they're like, you know, they think it works, but they're not sure that it works.
Yeah.
Like she got to see it work, bro, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing.
So
like,
awesome.
You know,
it's so awesome, man. The fight world is incredible, man. I
man.
Tell people about. I watched everything. I'm an avid fan of fighting. I think there's so much value in it and understanding yourself and willingness to engage when needed. You know, like I don't ever want my kids to have to fight, but I always want them to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's just interesting.
I hope they don't fight. I hope mine don't fight too.
Yeah.
Please no.
I know it's crazy. My daughter, my 6-year-old, she's been in a few, and always protecting someone. So I'm always like, Mama, I love that about you, but please.
I don't mind getting in a fight. I don't want them to do it professionally.
Oh, dude, my son wants to be an Army Ranger. I'm like, yeah, nah, bro. There's better things out there in the world. There's a question right here that says, if you can leave the world with one key piece of advice, what would it be?
You got to love yourself first. Because love is where it all is. It's all in love, right? It's all in love. I want us to understand that we are born good and loving. We are not born bad. You know, that. The world touches us, and yeah, it can make us go sideways, all of us, you know, but no one is born bad, not a single person. So, man, please love yourself. It's the only possible way that you're going to love anybody else for real, not fake love, real love.
You know what I love about that is I teach a lot of people that leadership equals love. Mm-hmm. And love equals leadership. And if you're not loving the person you're leading, you're doing it wrong, right? Because then there's insecurities, then there's there's whatever other ideas. But if you love that person, you're going to give them everything. Just the same to attest to what you talk about is giving them everything.
Man, I have 2 quotes on my wall that I make sure I read every day. And the one is "The Man in the Arena" by Teddy Roosevelt, right? Because I think that's what men especially are not doing. We're not walking into the arena. And then 2 is the Martin Luther King quote that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Yes. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And those are that's it, man. You do this every day for me, right? For me. And look, I don't want to profess that I have answers or anything. I just know what works for me. And then I try to go share it with the world. I'm not saying that it's going to work for you. And I don't have that kind of arrogance to think that I know that it will work for you. But for me, these are the 2 things that work: walk in the goddamn arena and love.
Here's the question I have right here. That's from Catherine. She says, what advice would you give your high school self, the one that was treated unkind? It's
going to be okay, homie. You know, I think a lot of our young people think it's not going to be okay. Right. And they see this Instagram life, especially now, right, that you get rich and you're famous and you drive these nice cars and like you're young and, you know, it's likes don't
equal likes and shares don't equal being valid or
man. And you see these dudes out there like flashing, like, look at all this money that I have. Like, I hate this. Like look at my money. Like they pull their wallet out and show hundreds. Man, look, we all can go to the bank and get some hundreds.
Yeah, I got them on Amazon.
You know, yeah, exactly. You know, anybody can do it for a minute, you know. But this isn't where it's at. So, and I know it's really hard for a lot of us right now, especially as young people, because you don't know who you are. Like those things that I said, who am I? Look, they took 30, 40 years for me to develop and really figure out and all of that stuff. Love yourself. Yes. Again, love yourself, Eliot. You know, 15-year-old Eliot. This small town right now, it doesn't really matter that much. I know it feels like it does. It feels like the weight of the world is on you, but get out in the world. And when you get out in the world, and that's the walking into the arena part over here, you know, when you get out into the world, you're going to see that this pond is really, really big. You know, it's a really, 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 really big pond, and that there's somebody else like you. There's somebody else like you. There's another weirdo.
Alone, brother.
That's right. There's another weirdo, man, they're weird like you. They're weird just like you. And right now you feel very weird and alone. But there's a lot of weirdos like you. So go out in the world, be weird, be different, and man, just love yourself.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. This is the Branches of Struggle podcast with my guest, Eliot Marshall. Thank you so much for listening to us. Go head up his links, follow him, go buy his book, do everything. This man right here is speaking the truth. Thank you so much for being with us today, Eliot.
Guys, man, I really appreciate it. And hey, look, I would love for you to buy my book. I'd love for you to do all that stuff. But if you can't buy it, if that's not the space you're in right now and you want it, you hit me up and I'll make sure you get it. You know, this isn't this is never a money-making endeavor for me. This is a change the world endeavor, right? This is a make someone's life better. So if you're like, yo, I think this could really help me, and you don't have $10, cool, great. Talk to me and you'll get everything. I'll give you everything you need that you want that I have, you know? So, man, I'd love to help anybody that is down to listen.
Thank you, brother.